Welcome to the FinGlam Finance channel. In this video, we will be reading and discussing some articles that we found very interesting. Feel free to leave a comment. Let's start reading the first article. The price of Litecoin is on the rise today, as traders maintain an optimistic outlook for the upcoming halving event. In fact, Litecoin is outperforming the broader crypto market, and its price surge of about 8.3% on July 2nd to $116 marks its highest level since April 2022. This week, Litecoin's returns have soared over 30%, making it the most successful week for the cryptocurrency since November 2021. Traders are eagerly buying Litecoin leading up to the halving scheduled for August 3rd road. During this event, the mining reward per block on the Litecoin network will be reduced from 12.5 LTC to 6.25 LTC, which is expected to lower the new supply of Litecoin. Various market analysts are optimistic about Litecoin's future. Crypto Tony predicts a rally towards $140 prior to the halving, while analyst Michael Van de Papa believes the price could reach $200 around the event. Previous Litecoin halvings have been accompanied by volatile price rallies, indicating the possibility of a similar scenario this time. Additionally, Litecoin's listing on EDX Markets, a new institutional crypto exchange supported by prominent firms like Citadel Securities, Fidelity Digital Assets, and Charles Schwab Corp., has contributed to its recent price rally. Furthermore, the announcement of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF filing with the SEC, which spurred other major financial institutions to follow suit, has had a positive impact on Litecoin and other crypto assets. Since the announcement on June 15, Litecoin's price has surged over 60%. The recent surge in buying activity has pushed the Litecoin market into an overbought state. It's worth noting that on July 2nd, Litecoin's Daily Relative Strength Index, RSI, crossed the 70 mark, suggesting the potential for a correction in the coming days. If a correction does occur, Litecoin's price could test the key support level at $100. A decisive close below $100 would pave the way for a test of the 50-day exponential moving average, currently around $90. Conversely, a bounce from the $100 level would set the stage for further upward momentum for Lieutenant Colonel USD. With strong fundamentals supporting it, Litecoin could potentially rise towards the resistance level of $130, which was last observed between January and April 2022. This level aligns closely with the upper trend line of Litecoin's ongoing ascending channel trajectory, as depicted in the weekly chart. Considering this setup, Litecoin bulls could potentially achieve a 20% gain by late July or early August. This was the text of the article, and now we will be commenting on it. The rising price of Litecoin is certainly catching the attention of traders and investors. With the upcoming halving event, there seems to be a sense of bullishness in the market. Litecoin's price surge of 8.3% on July 2nd, reaching its highest level since April 2022, is an exciting development for enthusiasts. This week alone, the returns have skyrocketed by over 30%, making it the best week for Litecoin in quite some time. Traders are eagerly preparing for the halving scheduled in August, which is expected to reduce the mining reward per block and potentially impact the supply of Litecoin. Market analysts are optimistic about Litecoin's prospects, with predictions ranging from a rally towards $140 to even reaching $200 around the event. It's interesting to see the historical pattern of volatile price rallies following previous Litecoin halvings, which suggests the possibility of a similar scenario this time. The recent listing of Litecoin on EDX Markets, backed by reputable institutions, is another contributing factor to its price surge. Additionally, the filing of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF with the SEC has provided a boost not only to Litecoin but also to other cryptocurrencies. While the recent surge in buying activity has left Litecoin in an overbought state, it's important to consider potential corrections in the coming days. A test of the key support level at $100 is a possibility, with the potential to pave the way for further downward movement. However, if Litecoin manages to bounce back from the $100 level, it could potentially experience more upside momentum. With strong fundamentals and the potential to break resistance levels, Litecoin could be looking at significant gains by late July or early August. Overall, it's an exciting time for Litecoin enthusiasts, and many are closely watching its performance leading up to the halving event. Now we will read and comment on another interesting article. Gemini co-founder Cameron Winklevoss has expressed strong criticism of the SEC's decision to reject a Bitcoin ETF, calling it a major setback for U.S. investors. According to Winklevoss, the U.S. securities regulator has been steering investors towards risky and unregulated crypto products for the past decade. In a recent statement, the Winklevoss twins highlighted the SEC's consistent refusal to approve a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, ETF, noting that it has been a full 10 years since they initially sought approval for their own ETF from the regulator. Winklevoss emphasized that this prolonged denial by the SEC has had dire consequences for U.S. investors, describing it as a complete failure on the part of the regulatory body. Without an approved spot Bitcoin ETF, investors have been compelled to turn to alternatives like the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, which is currently trading at a substantial discount compared to Bitcoin's price and imposes exorbitant fees. Winklevoss further argued that the SEC's refusal has led to a rise in U.S. investors seeking unlicensed and unregulated offshore platforms, such as FTX, which he criticized as one of the largest financial scams in recent times. Expressing his opinion on the matter, Winklevoss suggested that the SEC should reflect on its disappointing track record. Instead of overstepping its authority and acting as the gatekeeper of economic activities, the regulatory body should prioritize the protection of investors as mandated. These remarks from Winklevoss come amidst a flurry of recent filings, renewals, and amendments for spot Bitcoin ETFs by various companies, including BlackRock, Fidelity, WisdomTree, Invesco, Valkyra, and ARK Invest. Reportedly, the SEC has deemed some of these filings for spot ETFs as insufficiently clear and comprehensive, requesting the fund managers to revise and clarify their language before resubmitting. In the midst of all this, Gemini is engaged in a lengthy court mediation with Genesis, a subsidiary of Digital Currency Group, DCG, that owns Grayscale, the manager of GBTC. Additionally, the exchange is facing charges from the SEC in court. This was the text of the article, and now we will be commenting on it. The SEC's refusal to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF is a massive disappointment for U.S. investors. Cameron Winklevoss, co-founder of Gemini, expressed his frustration with the regulatory body's decision, stating that it has been a disaster for the past decade. He believes that the SEC has forced investors into unregulated and risky crypto products, leaving them vulnerable. Winklevoss pointed out that it has been 10 years since he and his twin brother filed for their own ETF approval, and the SEC's consistent rejection has hindered progress in the crypto space. Without an approved Bitcoin ETF, U.S. investors have been left with limited options. Winklevoss highlighted the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, as an alternative, but noted its massive discount compared to the actual Bitcoin price and the high fees it charges. He also raised concerns about investors turning to offshore platforms, such as FTX, which he described as a major financial fraud. Winklevoss believes that the SEC should focus on its mandate of protecting investors rather than acting as an unnecessary gatekeeper of economic life. The recent surge in companies filing for spot Bitcoin ETFs, including BlackRock, Fidelity, and ARK Invest, reflects the growing demand for such investment vehicles. However, the SEC has criticized some of the filings for lacking clarity and comprehensiveness, urging the fund managers to make necessary revisions. Meanwhile, Gemini finds itself entangled in legal battles with Genesis, a subsidiary of Digital Currency Group, and facing charges from the SEC. These challenges highlight the complexities and uncertainties surrounding the regulatory landscape for cryptocurrencies. Overall, Winklevoss's comments shed light on the frustration felt by U.S. investors who are eager to see the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. They hope that the SEC will reconsider its stance and prioritize investor protection, enabling the growth and development of the cryptocurrency market. We are excited to share this information with you and create a community dedicated to financial growth. Let us know your thoughts in the comments as we continue to explore the vast world of finance together. Subscribe to our channel to stay informed and feel free to share and comment on all our videos. Thank you for your support. Attention! The information provided in this video does not constitute financial advice and is not intended to provide any form of financial guidance. The opinions expressed in this video are personal and may differ from those of financial experts. Any decision you make regarding investments will be your own decision. We do not intend to influence your decisions in any way. If you decide to undertake any investments, we recommend consulting professionals in the field. Before risking your financial capital, conduct your own research. Financial markets can be highly volatile, so if you choose to invest, do so with caution. It is important to be aware that financial transactions are often risky and can result in the loss of your entire invested capital. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Financial knowledge is essential. Be aware of your goals and abilities before investing. Conduct thorough research and verify sources before making financial decisions based on this video.